The Doe and 5-0's coming up. Yeah, they gon' talk about Florida, cause it sucks. Yeah, they gon' talk about politics, news and stuff. Yeah, they gon' talk about cause it's funny. So what? Yeah, they gon' talk about it. Yeah, I like that guitar. Not quite sure what happened. Seems like I might have lost my place. Well, if you're just now tuning in, the show hasn't started yet. Congratulations, you made it. So let's give it up for the Doe and 5-0. The Doe and 5-0's coming up. Yeah, they gon' talk about Florida, cause it sucks. Yeah, they gon' talk about politics, news and stuff. Yeah, they gon' talk about cause it's funny. So what? Yeah, they gon' talk about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to another glorious week here at the Doe and 5-0 show. Man, it seems like we just did this.
We did.
Not a whole lot of news stories. You're welcome. We
could make some up.
We got a few news stories. We got a handful out of Florida and a couple political garbage ones. I don't remember if I found any good news or not this week. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.
There's good news every day.
It's just hard to find on the internet.
But it's all around us.
It is all around us.
I have good news right now. You want to hear it?
Sure.
I was just looking at these notes that I scribble down every week, and they don't make any sense at all. But I'd like to share them. Alligator shotgun Bud Light. You're a lazy weenie sweating. I wrote bitch. I have no idea why I have bitch on there.
He was talking to me.
Rumpy Pumpy. Don't fart naked. Tushy Wedgie. See, there's some good news for you. I have no idea why I wrote any of that stuff.
Okay, let's dive into the first news headline for the day. That's just some of his glorious note-taking. It's unbelievable that you weren't like the valedictorian of your class.
I can't believe it either.
With those note-taking skills, it's unbelievable.
There's like probably one word from every story you've ever read I've written down.
Naked, naked, naked. Florida,
alligator pants.
Okay, only in L.A., Joe, a driver manages to stop for gasoline during a police pursuit.
Does that happen here?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
As far as
you think he got out? Time out.
As far as police chases go, Southern California has seen it all, but Tuesday's police pursuit may have provided something new, even for the world capital of police chases. While on the run from authorities, a driver pulled into a gas station, paid for some gasoline, filled up, and then drove off to continue his getaway. News Chopper 4 was over the chase around 5 p.m. in the Los Angeles area.
The chopper had to stop and hover over the gas station.
Did he come out with a couple candy bars? Let's see. The driver
he stopped and went to the. He had to get the key to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, probably one of those big cinder blocks. The driver was wanted for a theft at a local Home Depot, according to the Glendora Police Department. The driver moved into the city of Industry around 5:05 p.m. The car appeared to have a missing bumper and some serious damage to the front end, but it was not clear if that damage was sustained during the pursuit. The pursuit took an odd turn when the driver stopped at a gas station and interacted with the driver of a white truck, seeming to toss something into the back of the white truck and possibly grabbing something from the customer. Moments later, in the city of El Monte, the driver took advantage of the lack of patrol vehicles following him by pulling into a gas station, running inside, and managing to fill up on some fuel before racing away again.
But he paid for it. That was nice.
After traveling through several cities, the driver jumped onto the 10 freeway westbound in West Covina. The driver made his way into East L.A., where he once again continued to perform dangerous, evasive maneuvers on the roads. At around 6:15 p.m., the driver got on the 60 freeway westbound in the Monterey Park area, east of downtown Los Angeles. About 10 minutes later, the driver pulled into a parking garage near the intersection of Palmetto Street and Molino. It was not immediately clear if the police were ever able to find him.
Well, how did
Even
they
the
know?
chopper lost sight of the guy.
Well, they know exactly where he went and what time, and they lost him. They got into East LA, and the cops went,
Yeah.
Nah, just good
I'm
enough. See you later.
He's got his own problems.
See that piece of shit he was driving? Nah, just let him have it. What did he do? Why were they chasing him again?
They never did say why they were chasing him. Crack news reporting there. A couple accidentally given a $1,500 bottle of wine after ordering a $13 bottle of wine. Yeah.
Would you be able to tell the difference?
I don't know anything about wine at all. Sarah and I, we took the kids to Tennessee for their fall break a few weeks ago, and I have never really been a wine guy. I mean, the only wine I ever really knew was, you and I both grew up Catholic, so obviously during
Morgan
communion.
David.
Yeah. Whatever that was all I knew, right?
Concord wine.
They get you drunk at a nice young age in the Catholic Church. But
MD 2020 is communion wine. It really is. And once you've puked on it a couple times,
Yeah.
do you like some wine at communion? That's okay. Thanks anyway.
you see a bunch of 6, 7, 8-year-old kids with the hiccups after going to mass, you know why. So, a mad dog.
And it was always backwash too, because did you guys drink from the same crucible? So we
Same
drank
chalice.
So we're drinking it, and they would wipe your lip off the outside of the chalice.
Yeah.
But they didn't care about all the backwash going back in.
What always grossed me was at the at the end of communion, whenever there was wine left, the priest would
drank it.
He'd dump it all into one chalice and just down that sucker. And I didn't think much about it as a kid, but I'm thinking about it now as an adult. And I'm thinking that's super disgusting because you get the wine after you get the communion, right? So you know that there's flakes of whatever.
Yes, communion,
the
right?
Communion is.
Wafer in there.
Yeah.
And think about this. Sometimes you go to a mass. Now I don't know, but with our church we had 2 masses on Saturday and 3 on Sunday, but there's always that one that wasn't real busy. I think it's 7:30 on Saturday. You ever think that the priest poured really full chalices for everybody so he could get tanked after the service was over?
The Catholics like to drink. Okay, it's a well-known fact. Anyway, this young couple hit the absolute jackpot when they were accidentally given a bottle of what they thought was the house wine, which actually turned out to be, $2,000, a $2,000 bottle. Again, I would have no idea the difference between a box of wine and a bottle of wine. Anyway, I got sidetracked there. We went to Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Sorry. And anyway, Sarah, early in our stay, she went to I don't know even know if you want to call it a winery. They sold wine. It's manufactured down there.
7-Eleven?
Yeah. Well, it's in downtown Gatlinburg with all the other stuff, right?
Okay.
So, but that's all it was wine. It's made down there in that area. And she went into one of these stores. They have several of them down there on the strip. It's all the same, I guess, but they've got them all over the place. And she went in there with a friend one of the first days we were down there, and she came out with a bottle of wine, which surprised me because she's not really a big drinker either, especially with wine. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, you got to try this. You got to try this." It was cotton candy wine. I was like, And again, I'm not a big wine guy, but anyway, later in the week, I'd forgotten that somebody I work with wanted me to try and get a local wine from down there. Didn't care what it was. He just collects wine from different places or whatever. So I was like, well, since Sarah said that was good, I sent him a text, said, "Hey, you interested in this? It's like a dessert wine, I guess, whatever that is. Sweet wine." He said, "Yeah, give me a bottle of that." So anyway, we go back to one of these stores, and they did a taste testing thing. I think I told you we did the moonshine taste testing while we were down there.
Mm-hmm.
They offered a taste testing for the wine, too. Holy cow, man. Smooth as a baby's behind, these wines. There's absolutely zero bitterness to it whatsoever.
See, I like dry. I like real dry.
And but it was really good. So we got a couple bottles. We got a cotton candy one and my favorite one was sounds really stupid. It was a birthday cake. Oh my goodness, they're good. Super good.
I saw pictures when you were down there and you were hugging something, and I thought, and you were smiling, and I went, "What's that on Lee's face?" And someone said,
don't
"I
see
think
that very
that's a
often."
smile."
Yeah.
So, what? Oh, he's not in uniform, and
used
he's
to
not
it.
here.
Yeah. Well, that was after taste testing two
so-
different moonshine places and having nothing to eat prior.
and then a bottle of birthday cake wine.
So we ended up going to Jimmy Buffett restaurant, was what you saw me in that picture where I was hugging that big beer bottle on the outside of the building. Their food was really good, I think. I don't know.
It's hard to tell, isn't it?
Anyway, the New York restaurant owner, London-born Keith McNally, revealed that a manager at his Manhattan place.
But it was a New York place?
Yeah.
And right away, you said launderer right away.
They gave an expensive bottle of wine to a young couple who had ordered a bottle of, I'll butcher that, Pinot Noir. I don't even know how you say it.
Okay.
Pinot Noir. I don't know. Meanwhile, a group of Wall Street businessmen thought they were drinking the Chateau blah, 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 and were none the wiser. Posting on Instagram, they explained one night, 4 Wall Street businessmen ordered the restaurant's most expensive red wine, 2,000 bottle of blah, 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 blah. One of the 2 managers transferred the blah, 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 blah into a decanter at a waiter station. More or less, this waiter ended up, the labels are similar. The waiter grabbed the wrong one.
And I
Instead
bet
of a $20
those
bottle
rich-
of wine, they got a $2,000 bottle
And
of
I
wine.
bet those rich businessmen got that cheap one and didn't have a clue that it was a cheap one.
They said they didn't know when they were tasting it.
Of
It
course
goes on in
they
the article.
didn't. Yeah, you can't tell.
But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know the difference for sure.
There's one, and people make a big deal about the price and where the grapes were grown and stuff. I like it or I don't like it. It's just not that hard.
And again, to me, it's very strange because wines are made from grapes, right?
Right.
And
Or cherries or fruit. They're made from fruit.
to me, it's kind of gross in my mind because obviously fruit goes bad. How does wine stay good for decades and decades and decades?
Well, it doesn't. It'll turn to vinegar. That's why you have
But
to
they
keep
have
it in the dark.
They have aged bottles of wine that people are like, well, this is a 1940 whatever.
Right. If it's corked properly and it's in the dark and there's a lot of little things that have to be done. Otherwise, it'll turn to vinegar.
I know people that I have known that've had a wine collection. They've always had them in a basement in a kind of a dark, cooler area.
That's what I have. I have some. I don't even drink anymore, but I have some wines that I really enjoyed, and I have them in a cooler in the dark, on the side, and I don't know if they're any good anymore anyway. But I bet they're over 30 years old now.
Wow. That could be our next taste testing challenge, huh? Somebody, I'll have to look at it. One of our, I think it was the same one that dared us to do that smelly fish challenge.
Oh.
She found some.
She's not a friend.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I didn't pay that much attention to it, but she tagged me in something. She goes, "You guys need to do this next," where it's like the world's hottest potato chip or something, like the gates of hell come shooting out of your mouth.
Oh, is that stuff? Anything that closes my throat up and causes me to not breathe, that bothers me. I'm all in if you want to do it, but I'd rather eat the fish.
We should probably have a gallon of milk just sit here in between us. We'll share it like we do the wine at church.
Big straw.
We can get one of those big goofy bendy straws.
I'm not going to do that.
Anyway, it'll be great. We'll put some chocolate syrup. We'll just guzzle it in there.
And some fish.
And some fish. Parents named their daughter after internet provider for free Wi-Fi, Joe. Out of Bern, Switzerland, the cost of living can be expensive between monthly streaming services, groceries, cable, and internet. But one Swiss couple hoping to cut down on cost reportedly named their daughter after their internet service provider in order to get free Wi-Fi for 18 years. According to the NPR, the new parents responded to an advertisement from Twi-Fi, a Swiss-based internet provider offering to provide free internet for 18 years to anyone who named their child after the internet service. Twyfus for a boy and Twifia for a girl, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that, were the names chosen by the internet provider. In an interview with a local media outlet, the parents revealed, "The longer I thought about it, the more unique the name became for me, and that was when the thing got its charm."
There's no charm.
The parents.
She was justifying it in her mind for the free internet. She sold her kid. She just pimped her kid out for free internet.
Yeah. The parents, about 30 and 35, said they wish to remain anonymous.
I don't think they can remain anonymous because their kid's going to be out there and we're all going to know
Twi-Fi. Come here, Twi-Fi. Anyway, they wish to remain anonymous and reveal that the child's first name is not, in fact, Twifia, but rather her middle name, which still counts, according to the local reports, for 18 years of free internet service.
Everyone's bothered by their middle name, almost everyone.
I go by mine.
Yeah, but I mean, most other people are like, oh, they hate to give it up. And this poor girl, I see therapy in her future.
All right, that's all we got for this week in news. Stay tuned for This Week in Florida.
Down to Florida, we welcome you to the Sunshine State. They're kicking back and soaking up the rays every day in Florida. I'm in Florida. The sun is setting over Tampa Bay. It's like a Caribbean holiday every day in Florida.
All right, everybody, welcome to This Week in Florida. We're going to start things, Joe, where a brawl between two Florida men over a political sign waving was caught on camera. Shockingly, out of Port St. Lucie.
Got to go there. Got to go there.
The Stark divisions caused the presidential election in Florida caused a fight to break out between two men over a flag in support of Democratic nominee and former Vice President Joe Biden. The two men were caught on camera Friday morning in Port St. Lucie wrestling and tussling on the ground at a gas station over the political spat. One of the men involved, whose name was only identified as Richard, told CBS 12 News he was attacked while he was waving his Biden campaign sign. I had a guy attack me, he said. He jumped out of his truck with his dog, an attack dog. The dog bit me twice on my hip.
Oh, the dog's
wonder if it sniffed his neck first. An eyewitness of the incident told the news station, however, that it was Richard who threw the first punch. The man was a very qualified fighter, added Richard. Unfortunately, he bit off more than he could chew. Port St. Lucie PD Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro told CBS 12's initial reaction was disappointment that a political disagreement would get to that point, really.
Seriously? They haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, the first time in 22 years that I can remember a physical confrontation over an election. Man, have you been paying attention to anything? I'm disappointed to see that happen in our community. That's not what Port St. Lucie is about. Wait a minute.
Yeah, wait. He has not paid attention.
We have developed an entire segment.
This was his first day on the job. Apparently, 22 years he's working someplace else. That guy.
He must be working in that wine cellar in the basement where he has no social interaction. Wow.
Florida man, who?
Anyway, it doesn't really go on to say anything else about this.
So I didn't understand. Who was the qualified fighter? Dick?
Dick, I believe.
So the dog bit Dick. I don't know why that tickled me just now, but it did. But Dick still won.
Dick won, man. Dick won.
Dick came on top. Oh, boy.
Gotta love St. Lucie.
Yeah, that's funny. Nothing like that's happened here in 22 years. We have alligators in people's pants. No political fights, though.
Go back to your hole, man. Go back to your hole. Florida deputies say arsonists wearing trash bags torched a dozen garbage trucks.
He wanted to be incognito.
Yeah.
I'm just a garbage bag.
I can just see that bolo coming across the screen now. He's wearing what? It's probably normal attire for people down there.
There's a video I want to see.
Out of Pompano Beach, Florida, a Florida arsonist was wearing goggles and black trash bags when he torched a dozen commercial garbage trucks worth more than $3 million.
Wow.
Deputies with the Broward County Sheriff's Office released a surveillance video of the arson on Friday. They said the incident took place in the middle of the night Sunday at Waste Pro in Pompano Beach. After the male forced entry by torching the gate to gain access into the compound.
The man likes fire, doesn't he?
He walked toward the rear of the property alongside the garbage trucks with what appeared to be a gas canister. Pritchard said the arsonist, who was being sought, also set fire to Waste Pro's office and fled in a black sedan. Deputies were also looking for the driver of a white SUV who may have been acting as a lookout. The fire touched off a loud explosion that shook Maria Elizabeth's home and knocked out one of her windows. It was like a bomb followed by a fireball, she told the news station. Fireball shot up into the sky. We are saddened that such an irresponsible act could occur, Waste Pro's Russell Mackey said, according to local news. They only put screenshots in there. They didn't actually provide us the video. But
does it show the guy?
It's really grainy. You can kind of see that's him. That's the garbage bags he's surrounded in. Great video. You know,
that is so funny that he would dress like a garbage bag. So if somebody would have come, he would have just crumpled himself down on the ground.
Yeah. Just throw himself in a dumpster and nobody find me in here.
I'm Dr. Amy Killen.
Nobody's here. No one's here but his trash bags.
All right, we're going to load up a news article here, Joe, where a woman posed as a lottery worker to steal some lottery tickets. Let's take a look at this.
That detectives had never seen before. It was a well-plotted plan. She was confident, she knew what to say, and she knew exactly how to use those lottery machines. It's surveillance video showing just how one woman managed to con a store clerk, flashing what appears to be a badge, saying she worked for the Florida Lottery Commission and needed to check the store's inventory.
Definitely, I'm upset.
Saika Mayrin is the owner of this Exxon station in St. Pete. This is where police say 20-year-old Lakoa Moore stole $3,200 worth of lottery tickets, using the lottery machine to activate them before she moved on to her next target. According to police, she targeted at least 4 stores in St. Pete and Pinellas County over 2 days last week.
County, yeah.
She stole $1,600 worth of tickets from this gas station. She also tried to con this gas station on 4th Street North, but according to police, once the clerk started questioning her, she got out of the store and drove off.
There's scams all over the place, but something that runs just this way is not something they've seen before.
St. Pete police spokesperson Michael Petz says Moore's confidence is how she was able to pull off the crimes.
She talked like she knew the business, used terminology that they were familiar with.
She even called the stores in advance to let them know she would be coming. Eventually, the lottery caught on, posted surveillance pictures of her on their machines, and went to stores to tell them there was a woman posing as an official, including May Renz, whose store clerk then realized they had already been scammed.
We work hard to earn this money.
And so how exactly were they able to catch this woman? Well, according to detectives, they used Facebook. They got a couple of tips about who she might be. They compared the pictures on Facebook to those surveillance pictures and made a positive ID there. Now, by the way, the total number of winnings from those stolen lottery tickets was about $3,000. Wow. I'm reporting live in St. Pete. Clifton French, ABC Action News.
Honestly, for all the tickets she got,
Yeah.
sounds like she really didn't do that
Shows you how good your odds are in the scratchers.
Yeah, her luck is
So she
not
put a lot
good.
of thought into to this process. So
Well, I admire that, but she could have put all that thought in getting a job.
what?
I'm sorry, you said that. I'm ridiculous.
Wonder if she had a Biden bumper sticker on the back of her car.
Oh, Lee, don't do that.
Florida Keys man was caught with 16 stolen lobsters, shockingly, Joe, stuffed down his pants.
I knew it. I knew it. I'm going to have to write this one down because later on I can say, what the hell did I write that down there for?
27-year-old Florida Keys deckhand tried to steal 16 lobster tails by stuffing them down his pants, according to police. Gary Lee Pinson of Marathon, Florida, was arrested on misdemeanor charges of theft, possession of wrung lobster tails while on the water, whatever that is.
I think that means they were cut off.
And possession of one undersized lobster tail. A lobster's tail cannot be wrung or separated from its body while the harvester is on the water. Lobsters must be brought back to land in whole condition, and when the tail is separated from the body on land, it must be longer than 5.5 inches. I wonder who in the hell enforces that. Oh, here we go. At about 4:30 p.m. Tuesday, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission officers were conducting inspections on the docks at Nichols Seafood Fish House on Conch Key. The Life Force vessel then pulled in. Pinson quickly got off the life force and tried to leave the area, but the conservation officer stopped him and told him that he had to stay with the boat until the inspection was complete. Pinson complied and started helping the other deckhands unload lobster traps. The officers then noticed Pinson was holding up his rain slicker pants and walking awkwardly while his leg bottoms of the slickers were bulging. Conservation officers asked Pinson what was in his pants.
I wish I was there.
He said he had lobster tails on him. When a conservation officer untucked the slicker pants from the deckhand's boots, 16 wrung lobster tails fell out onto the boat deck. Pinson told conservation officers that he was going to take the lobsters home to eat. The boat captain told conservation officers he wanted to press charges for theft. Pinson was handcuffed and taken to the county jail on Stock Island. He was released the next day without having to post a bond.
I wonder if they found all of them or if he was hiding them anyplace else.
He looks like a pretty scrawny fellow there, so... Man, that's... Yikes.
I'm surprised he didn't say, those aren't mine.
Those are my pants. Those are my lobsters.
How in the hell?
We got a little... We've seen stuff like this before. People make homemade makeshift vehicles and do goofy things with vehicles. This is a interesting contraption a Florida man has made out of a leaf blower, Joe.
Oh, that's cool. What is he riding on? A mop bucket?
Yeah.
can steer it too. How does he steer it? He leans. It's like a motorcycle. That's cool. Now you think if you could attach that somehow and have a better vehicle to sit in and you could steer it, that's cool.
Take my license.
He has a completely battery operated vehicle there.
All right, that's all we got for this week in Florida. Stay tuned for this week. Political garbage. All right, everybody, welcome to This Week in Political Garbage. We're going to start off with the headline, Joe, where a cop-hating protester accused of defrauding COVID-19 relief loan program. A cop-hating protester accused of trying to cut the brake line of an NYPD van faces a new fraud case for lying about owning a car wash business to get COVID-19 relief funds. Jeremy Trapp, age 24, allegedly applied for an interest-free loan and grant from the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program back in June, claiming he owned a car wash business that employed 10 people and had a pre-pandemic revenue of $150,000. The Small Business Administration approved a $42,500 loan and a $10,000 grant, depositing the cash into Trapp's bank account. As alleged, Trapp filed an application containing outright lies in order to steal government funds intended to help small businesses and their employees survive the economic fallout of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Justice will ensure that the taxpayer and pandemic relief funds are not misappropriated. After Trapp was arrested for allegedly sabotaging an NYPD van back in July, investigators discovered the alleged financial fraud. The address he had listed for the Phantom business was his Brooklyn apartment in a residential building. He doesn't own or operate a car wash or have any employees at all, according to the prosecutor's office. He's been locked up since he was charged with crawling under an unmanned police van parked in Sunset Park and snipping a line for the wheel speed sensor, all while a paid informant and undercover cops videotaped the sabotage. He had intended to sever the brake line, but the damage to the wheel speed sensor could have had devastating consequences by interfering with the driver's ability to maintain control of the compromised vehicle. Trapp also faces charges in a state court for the incident. During meetings with the paid informant, Trapp allegedly advocated violence, arguing that the demonstrators are too peaceful to be effective. He suggested blowing up the bridge so that white supremacists from Staten Island couldn't use it. The pair even visited the site to conduct a renaissance, snapping pictures of the bridge. Trapp's lawyer, Ashley Burrell, did not immediately return a request for comment, probably because she knows her client's a grade A dirtbag.
Yeah, that's bad.
So this he's a double whammy. He's a big defund the cops, and he likes to apparently riot and even possibly kill somebody by cutting brake lines and stuff like that.
Not even just the policeman. Who does he run into? What innocent people would the car?
And then now he
defrauds.
Then he defrauds the government.
But how the hell? They don't check federal ID numbers? I mean, he has to give a federal ID number. They don't cross-reference that. They just handing out money. And yet I know people that own businesses that couldn't get a penny.
Right.
And yet he has this bullshit car wash from his apartment with 10 people, and they just transfer the money to his account. I don't understand that.
You see stuff like this all the time where it always seems to be government related, right? They claim that, they like take the gun thing, for instance. We want more gun control. We want this. But it's dumb shit like this where they're not even doing their due diligence on something as simple. You would think that they would want to do a nice, pretty sophisticated background check before, how much was that? Over $50,000 between the two loans or something like that? And yeah, 42, 5, and 10. So yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And he wasn't going to pay that. 10 was grant, and 42 was
a
loan, which was not the thing with those things. If you could prove that they all went towards the business, but I mean, obviously, I have a friend that did get money for all that stuff, and she has to write everything down. Everything has to be done. But he wouldn't have done it, and he'd have just moved.
Right.
And they'd have never found him, and they'd have never bothered. Kind of like when they bailed out all those places. I don't think anyone ever paid them back, did they, the government?
Yeah, probably not. And I guess you can go to Canada with all the celebrities.
Yeah. Well,
All right, Poland tightens abortion laws, effectively banning terminations. Poland has banned almost all abortions after introducing a new law that prevents terminations in cases of total fetal defects. The country already had some of its strictest abortion laws in Europe, and this new rule, which brands terminations and fetuses with defects as unconstitutional, means almost a complete ban. Whether the new rule comes into play, abortions will only be allowed in cases of rape, incest, or if the mother's health is at risk. They've already had some pretty strict laws here. This goes on for a little bit, but this is a hot topic here in the United States, right? Especially with like Planned Parenthood and stuff like that. Is it right? Is it wrong? The way
this is a scary subject. This is a scary subject.
the way that we were raised, as we stated earlier in the show, in the Catholic Church, and by Catholic standards, abortion is totally and completely wrong.
Right.
My personal opinion, I don't necessarily disagree with the way Poland is handling it. If it's a rape, if it's an incest to where the baby, there's a good chance that baby's probably going to have zero quality of life, because we know that when you mix the same DNA like that they're going to come have some serious problems. Or maybe even if the mother's life is at risk. There's going to be some exigent circumstances, and you're never going to have everybody's never going to agree universal what's right and what's wrong. There's not been any backlash that according to this article in Poland as of yet, because they've already had some pretty stringent abort that you can't just go like you can here in the United States and go do whatever you want to your body. But
well, this is I guess I thought where we were, it wasn't as big, such a hot topic. But just recently I've talked to people, friends of mine that are very pro-choice. They don't believe in abortion, but they do believe a woman should have choice in her body. But I say, the baby doesn't seem to have a choice.
Right.
And if you are raped, if you are, let's say you did have consensual sex and you knew the next day, I wasn't, things happen like that. There are things, you're pregnant, you can find out the next day, can't you?
Yeah, I don't know how quickly you can find out, but and this could go off into a whole tangent, which I'm not going to get into that. But the whole my body, my choice thing, and then that'll segue into the people that are hell bent on not wearing the mask as opposed to the people that are, and it goes into a lot of different things. But we're talking about a human life here.
Yeah.
And I personally don't agree with it, except for if it's like the circumstances we're talking about in Poland. If you were raped, do you really want to remember that for the rest of your life? Well, then they'll say there's people out there that want to. And there's adopt the baby, but that's still 9 months of this lady's life where she's going to have to go through the trauma.
And then
reliving
you could also say, but it's not the baby's fault,
right?
It's
a tough call. It's a tough call. So, we're not going to go off too much on that. That's a pretty long tangent on its own. So let's go ahead and move on to this week in good news.
Oh, he did have good news.
All right, everybody, welcome to This Week in Good News. We've got a few stories here, Joe. I'm not sure if this is good news or kind of not good news. Newlywed officers recognized for immediately going back to work after their wedding in order to respond to riots. Out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, members of law enforcement often go above and beyond to protect their communities. And these two officers in Michigan are no different. Cole Hoyer and Kelly Momber met on the job at Grand Rapids Police Department and fell in love. They planned their dream wedding for May 30th, 2020. But the coronavirus pandemic meant that their big gathering had to be pared down to just family and close friends. On the night of their wedding, the riots began in downtown Grand Rapids, and the police department said their wedding party, many of them police officers, had to be called in for duty shortly after the wedding ceremony concluded. Cole and Kelly were both heartbroken, but their loyalty to their communities to serve and their desire to be with their law enforcement brothers and sisters brought them into work the very next day, less than 18 hours after they were married. So that's, I didn't know where to put this story.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that they kind of put everything on the back burner to go help their fellow.
I think so too.
Their fellow workers and Blue, but it kind of sucks for them at the same time that they're not. I
put Kathy and my honeymoon on hold for 10 years. Just, seriously, I'm not sure I'm going to make that 10-year thing either. I went to work. I was at work the morning of our wedding. I worked, and then I ran home and I showered. Got my tux on, ran over to Wabash, got married at Charlie Creek. We got married. We had the reception and everything. I slept for a couple hours. I got up, I ran back here, went to work, got done, ran back over there and had breakfast with everybody. But where are my kudos, Lee? Where are my kudos?
Good job, Joe. Teen Kroger worker reaches into his own pocket to help pay for an elderly shopper's groceries. Out of Covington, Kentucky, a Kentucky teenager said he just wanted to help when he gave money to a senior citizen at the supermarket where he works. Tayal Jordan said that when he heard the cashier at his Kroger store tell a man he didn't have enough money to cover his grocery bill, he decided to help out. I just seen that I wanted to help this guy out. I just saw that he didn't have enough money for all the groceries that he wanted. The cashier told him he would have to put some of the things back, so I just thought in my head I would give him $35 that I had on me so he could get all the food that he wants. Jordan, an 18-year-old high school senior from Covington, has only been working at the store as a bagger for just a few weeks. He said he's trying to save money to buy a car, but that took a backseat to helping a stranger in need. Just treat the people the way you wanted to be treated, and always help out if someone needs it, he says. I'm proud of Teo. I'm overwhelmed with joy. You try and instill in your kids right and wrong, but you don't know if they comprehend or not it. And I'm very proud of him, according to his mother, Stephanie.
That's great. That is really great.
So we had one similar to this, where was it, Chick-fil-A or somewhere last week we had something kind of similar where a teenager kind of, it's hard for me, like doing what I do. I see a lot of negativity every day out of both the adults and juveniles, right? So sometimes it's kind of easy to lose sight of there actually are younger people that are capable of doing good things.
My kids are younger, and they're, well, gosh, they're getting old now. 27, 25, and 20. But they're good kids. They do stuff like that.
Kind passenger pays tearful mom's luggage fee after bag is deemed too big. Ryanair passenger paid a distressed mom's luggage fee after the airline allegedly wanted to charge her $50. The mom of three became visibly distressed after staff allegedly said that her bag was too big to be taken on board. Another passenger filmed the moment before they all boarded the flight from somewhere to, I can't even pronounce the countries they're going to. The camera pans to the distressed mom whose children are all playing together, and she can be seen anxiously running her hands through her hair. The kind stranger reassures her that the overwhelmed mom, saying, "It's all right, it's all right." She puts her face in her hands as he calms her down before going to the counter and paying this fee for her. The video was filmed by another passenger who posted it on Twitter. It was captioned, "Well done to this young hero for paying the ridiculous Ryanair baggage charges for a distressed mother traveling with 3 kids who wasn't getting any leniency from the ground staff." The flight from somewhere to somewhere was half empty. I'm not sure what a difference a few bucks would make. The video has been viewed over 1,000 times, with social media users praising the man's selfless act.
Good for him. There's a lot of stuff like this out there, Lee. I see it a lot.
Well, that's all we got for this week in good news. We did have some stories. I just forgotten about them because I see so much bad sometimes I just forget. So, you got anything you want to touch on before we head out of here for today or for the week?
Vote for Joe DeRozier.
Not the other one.
Get that. You're going to probably have to write that in. DeRozier. Remember, if you're not planning on voting or you're going to vote for an independent out of spite, just vote for me. Just, what the hell? If you want to show how ticked off you are at the whole system, what better way to show that than to vote for me?
Who the hell is Joe DeRozier?
How did he win in Miami County? That's what I want.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, we're working hard to try and get things back to normal with the Wednesday releases. We'll see if that happens this week or not. I got to get this done tonight, overnight, and get it pushed up.
There'll be a speaker that didn't work or something.
Something will be wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll hear it and see it when you hear it and see it, I guess. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.